Oh, hi there! Welcome back to another YouTube video. It's been some time, and for good reason. During these few months, I haven't been posting. I got myself a VR headset. And of course, as it always happens, you spend 90% of the time doing settings and only 10% of the time playing. So, my favorite game to play in VR is Assetto Corsa, and I had some problems. The shimmering of the shadows and the fences and all that, it was just doing this in front of me all the time. It was driving me nuts. I found solution for that. Also, I have a low-end PC. I have a 1080 Ti, GTX 1080 Ti, Ryzen 7 2700X CPU, and yeah, I was lucky enough to buy some RAM before it got crazy prices. I have 32 gigabytes of RAM. But that is considered low end for VR, right? I think so. So I found I have this VR headset for a month now, and during this month I've searched the whole internet for the settings, and I haven't found a video to explain from beginning to end what's the best settings and how to do. Everybody has 50, 90, 80 Ti video cards. I don't have this. I buy my components second hand. You see this Quest 2? $150, my friend. Second hand. Works like new. Alright, same with my video card, GPU, CPU, all that. Second hand. So, I had to do some research and search the internet to find the best settings. And I got you covered. Last video, I showed you some secret settings for force feedback in Assetto Corsa if you're using a Logitech steering wheel. Now I'm gonna do the same but for a VR headset, and you should be able to play with a low-end PC as well. Okay, so get your nerd glasses on. It's gonna be a longer video. We have some programs we need to install, some files we need to copy, some presets, some settings in Content Manager. We have some stuff to do. It's gonna be all worth it. So we are gonna get, in this video, we get rid of the shimmering. I'm gonna show you how to use TAA for anti-aliasing. So no shimmering, no this doing crazy stuff in front of you in the distance, so you can focus on racing and driving and drifting and being awesome, like I showed you in the last video as well. I'm also gonna show you a very good baseline. Even if you have a crazy top-end PC, this is a good baseline. I'm gonna show you how to keep the shadows inside the car, but have no shadows outside on the road so they don't distract you and you see the road clear. I'm gonna show you the best baseline for performance. And if you have a crazy PC, a top-end PC, you can just increase the resolution in your Quest or whatever VR headset. Just increase the resolution, increase the video graphics, add more effects in the custom shader patch, and make the game look more beautiful if you have the computing power to do so. If not, if you have a low-end PC like I do, this is gonna allow you to have very nice visuals, very decent clarity, and stable performance. 72 Hz in the headset, 72 FPS. We cannot ask for more, but it's stable and not on a racetrack by yourself. Drifting in online servers, racing in Nürburgring on online servers, LA Canyons, all this stable. The only problems I have is in Shukuto Revival project, whatever it's called, with 200 AI cars, and you know, it's just a lot on the road. There I have some 60, 50 FPS. I cannot get 72 stable with those settings. You can get stable 72 FPS, but we have to reduce the visual aspect of things. But I'm not interested in driving on highways anyway. I don't drive on those servers, so it's not a problem. Okay, speaking of nerds, just a quick side note. You might notice I'm not just any nerd. I'm a jacked nerd, as you can see, right? So, it's good to be a nerd if you're jacked, Because last video I showed you crazy force feedback settings so you can drive and be awesome, and now I'm going to show you crazy VR settings to drive and be awesome and be even more immersed. So that means at some point a lady might come over to see your incredible driving skills, and you being a nerd, you might get carried away and you might start talking about weight transfer and trail braking and counter steering, and you don't want her to pay attention to that. What you want her attention to be, you need her to be fully focused on the muscles on your arm while you manhandle the Logitech steering wheel. So in order for that to happen, remember to do some push-ups every once in a while. Eat healthy, you know. Take care of you. Don't just sit at your computer 12 hours per day. Do some push-ups, get some sunlight. Let's get the nerd glasses back on because I'm excited to talk about all these settings. And let's get into it, okay? Let me make myself smaller on the screen so you can see what is happening here. All right. Okay, first, we have Quest. I have Quest 2. My settings for Quest are as follow. We click here, graphic preferences, 72 Hz, 1.0x resolution. If you have crazy PC, crank this all the way to the maximum. Okay, that's taken care of. Now, another thing we need. Oculus debug tool. You might ask, but where I find this Oculus debug tool? Well, I show you where you find it. It's right here, my friend, right? This PC, okay, go to your PC, C drive, in my case, program files, Meta Horizon. So you go to where you installed the Meta Horizon, click on support folder, Oculus diagnostic folder, and here you have Oculus debug tool. You double click on this, okay, and we have this panel. Now, I have a Quest 2. If you have a Quest 2, use these settings. If you have other VR headset, you have different menus for it, and this might not apply to you. Okay, FOV tangent multiplier, horizontal and vertical. Put this on 0.9. It narrows the field of view a little bit. You don't actually notice it, the headset, but it renders less of what is displayed, so it gives some performance, all right? Then we go to PC asynchronous space warp. This has to be on disabled. Don't let it go to auto or 45. Has to be on disabled. If it's auto or other setting, if you have a stutter, if you have something, it will automatically force 45 FPS in your headset until the stutters go away. It just, you don't need it. Disable. Distortion curvature, default. Video codec, H.264. This is default. Silence encoding. Encode resolution width, 3664. I search on ChatGPT, I asked for this, and it says 3664 is the native resolution, and if you type this in, it renders all the time this resolution. It doesn't lower it. If it's set to 0, it's on auto, and it can lower it to keep the frame rates. And I want visual stability, and we can have the frame rate in other settings. Okay, if you have other VR headsets, I don't know what number you should put here, so leave it on 0. Encode dynamic bitrate, disabled. Dynamic bitrate max 500, encode bitrate 500. So this has something to do with your VR link cable. By the way, just get a $10 VR 3.0 speed link cable. It works good. If you set this to so you can set from 0 to 900. If it's on 900 and that is too much, it can create artifacts because it cannot maintain such a big bit rate. On 500 I have no problems, but I used 200 as well, and I don't see that much visual difference. So try 500. If it works, nice. If you have some problems, some artifacts, lower it a little bit. If you don't have any problems at all, try increase it. Try put 600, 700, 900. If on 900 you don't have any problems, keep on 900. Link sharpening, normal, all right? Then on visible HUD, we have this performance or none. If you click on performance, it gives you FPS and it gives you information. We don't want to use the Oculus debug performance toolset to see our FPS because it doesn't show correct information because we are using OpenXR Toolkit and OpenComposite. So leave on none. We have other ways to monitor our FPS. This Oculus debug tool, after you do the settings, go to service, restart Oculus service. If you don't do this, it will not apply all the settings. And if you restart your PC, sometimes the asynchronous space warp goes to auto and FOV goes to 0 again. So check this once in a while, see if you still have the settings you put in here. I don't know how to make the settings stay there after you start the PC. I haven't found a solution, so you have to open this and check if you still have the settings next time you open the PC, right? We can close this. That's done. Oculus debug tool. Now, we have 2 programs to install. I trust you. I put my trust in you, my friend. You know how to install a program on your PC. So, all the programs I show you here, OpenXR Toolkit, OpenComposite, and this TAA. So, this snowymoon guy has a YouTube channel and he does stuff for video games. And he created temporal anti-aliasing for Assetto Corsa, and you can download it from his official page. I will put the link to his YouTube channel in the video description. I got these TAA files from his channel and I will put them also in my description, but it's a link towards his download link. It's not from my PC, it's no funky business, okay? Right? But I will put his YouTube channel in the video description because he is a goat. I don't know who this guy is. I have no idea. I just found about this thing like 2 days ago, and I've been messing with the settings, and it works beautifully. Okay? Because Assetto Corsa doesn't have TAA. So that's why the shimmering and all the crazy funky business in the distance. All right. You have links for this in the description. You have links for OpenXR Toolkit in the description. You have link for OpenComposite in the description. And you also have links for my Assetto Corsa video settings and Assetto Corsa custom shader patch settings. You just click on those links and it applies the settings to your custom manager. But before you apply those settings, as you can see in my Assetto Corsa video settings, I have here called CM Content Manager NeghevPower VR settings. I saved the preset and I shared the link in the description of the video. Before you apply it, make sure you save your preset, click Save Preset, put whatever name you want in here, okay? And then click Save. If for some reason you don't want to use my settings or you want to go back to your settings, you can switch to your preset that you are saving now, okay? Do the same for Assetto Corsa video, and then go to custom shaders patch, and then again here, as you can see, save preset for custom shaders patch again, because I have CSP NeghevPower VR settings that you're gonna get from my description, okay? Also, use the link to download and install OpenXR Toolkit, and use the link to download and install OpenComposite Runtime Switcher. On OpenComposite, you download, you install it. I trust you know how to install some programs, okay? You open it and it's gonna be like this. You click switch to OpenComposite because we don't wanna use Steam VR, we wanna use OpenComposite. It allows us to use OpenXR Toolkit. Mine says it's already up to date. If it says for you to update, click update. That's all you have to do on OpenComposite. Switch to OpenComposite, make sure it's up to date, minimize it. No problem. You want to use Steam VR in the future? Switch to Steam VR. Perfect. OpenXR Toolkit. Download, install. There's a few settings. Nothing complicated. As you can see right here, I have the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, and modifiers set to control. That means if we press control and 3, it says open and down. It works to open the app or to navigate the menu down. If I press Ctrl and 3, it opens the OpenXR menu inside your VR headset to do the settings that we need to do. So choose whatever buttons you like here. You can be the arrows, whatever. I think default it's F1, F2, F3, F4, and the modifier control. Leave it as is if that works for you. I have a very small keyboard, so I had to modify the buttons. If for some reason in the future you don't want to use OpenXR, or it interferes with other programs or other video game you want to play, you just click disable OpenXR Toolkit, and it's like you don't have it installed. That's it. Simple as that. And when you open a game, it's going to show the game here in the list right here. It automatically puts it in the list. Okay, that's the OpenXR stuff we need to do. That's it. You have the buttons, you know how to open the menu once you are in the game, and you know how to disable or enable it. Same with the OpenComposite. That's it. Now we can move to Assetto Corsa. Now, I have the settings. You can just apply them, but I really suggest you have patience, okay? And see, sometimes shadows are not on off. If I load this again, it puts them on off. You have to load the settings sometimes after you restart the PC or the content manager, so make sure you load them. Okay, I'm gonna go through the settings to explain what they do, so you know how to tinker with them in the future. You know how to add more effects if you want to. So you know how to increase the graphical resolution, the graphical fidelity, or the visual clarity, or all that. So you know what they mean, and you know how to do more settings in the future. So I suggest you pay attention and you have patience for me to explain this. All right, don't just do like my other video where you just copy my settings and you don't watch the video and then you comment my wheel goes crazy. Is because you don't watch the video. Okay, so watching the video helps you understand what every setting do. Okay, rendering mode we use here. Okay, first we are in settings, Assetto Corsa video. Okay, we are in the video settings for Assetto Corsa first. OpenVR instead of Oculus Rift. We use OpenVR. Oculus Rift will not allow us to open the game with OpenXR, right? OpenVR. Resolution, don't set to full screen so you can alt-tab from the game. Resolution, Full HD. If you have a 4K monitor, don't set on 4K. It just uses the resources to render 4K on your screen and you see the video game in the headset anyway. Don't go lower than Full HD because the in-game UI gets too big and you cannot maneuver it and you cannot see all the options. Full HD works fine. We have all this unchecked. Now, we see this folder, right? We are going to copy this inside the game folder for TAA to work. I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. But this requires a few settings to work. So when I say this is important for TAA to work, it's because of this, right? So MSAA has to be off for TAA to work. Antistrophic 16x. Word detail minimum, shadow resolution off. Now, I will show you the setting to keep the shadows inside the car and make the car look beautiful, but have shadows off on the track so we get more performance and more clarity, right? Of course, this is a low-end, low-budget PC VR settings, so we are going to have to sacrifice a little bit somewhere in order to get the performance to have constant 72 FPS. If you have a crazy top-end PC, like I said, try moving the settings up a little bit to your liking, okay? For now, just do what I say. Shadow resolutions off, has to be off for my settings. I will explain later why, you will understand. Smoke generation off. If you're doing drifting and you like to see the smoke, put it at minimum, but it does impact performance. Also, if it's on off, you can see clearly the car next to you if you're doing tandem drifts and the smoke doesn't get in the way, okay? Reflection resolution 256 by 256. It's good enough, looks good enough. Rendering frequency 1 face per frame. Rendering distance 500 meter. What this means is, let's say you have the bonnet of the car and you have reflections from the trees and stuff on the track on the bonnet of the car. Now the reflection have resolution, and that's 256 by 256. Good enough, works good. If you want, you know, you have best PC in the world, put better resolution. But anyway, rendering distance, it means at what distance it takes the object to render the resolution, the reflections on the bonnet. So if an object is 500 meters away, it will render it. If it's 600 meters away, it will not appear as a reflection on the bonnet. So this you can keep to 500, even 100. It does, you know, above 500, it starts to have performance impact. Between 0 and 500, no performance impact. That's why it's on 500. Trust me, I tried 1 month I spent trying settings. So when I say put this on minimum or put this on 500, trust me, do as I say, I know the stuff. Then we have enable post-processing effects right here. This has to be on for TAA to work. Filter, pure VR, overall quality minimum, glare quality off, depth of field off, motion blur off, saturation, doesn't matter what you put in here, it doesn't affect how the game looks for some reason. It's on 115, just copy it. Heat shimmering and sun rays off, personal preference, but it's off. FXAA has to be off for TAA to work. Mirrors, mirror resolution 128 by 512. Good enough, you can see clearly in the mirrors. If you set it to off, you just don't have mirrors, it breaks the immersion. So you need this, all right? But you don't need more than this. Clear enough, it's good enough. Oculus pixel per display, it's on 2, but even if no matter where I set the slide, it doesn't affect how the Oculus looks. I think it's because of OpenXR and we are not using SteveVR and all that. So leave it on 2, it works good. Mirror texture, it's on, and this setting, MIP load bias is on 0, and the other one 100%, and max frame latency auto. Okay, these are the video settings. I saved the preset. You can click on the description, it applies them. It's gonna ask you to open Content Manager, you click OK, it's gonna apply the settings. Save yours first, so you can go back to yours. Then we move to custom shaders patch. Okay, we move to custom shaders patch, and here about updates. Shader patch version, I have 0212. This is my version, just in case you want to use the same version. And then we move to general patch settings. General patch settings active. I haven't messed with anything here except use extended physics for all cars and tracks. That's checked. All right. Yeah, I have CPU optimization. What is with red, I adjusted. So I checked a few stuff that says helps with performance. I have car instruments. I haven't messed with the settings. It's as is shown right here. Fake shadows, it says it shows with white, like I have it active, because everything that's grayed out, we have it unchecked. We are not using those effects. Fake shadows effects, it shows with white, but I unchecked all this. Force feedback tweaks. This is very important. That's why I say watch the whole video, because I'm going to mention stuff that's going to be important. Now, this is very important. Pay attention. This is on because I use gyro implementation from here, and I also use additional post-processing script set to active and alternative force feedback. This replaces the normal force feedback settings with a script from here that only gives to the wheel side force, front force, suspension treble force. You have some damping, and you have a base force multiplier that's set on 2 because I have a Logitech steering wheel. It's only 2 Newton meters, and the multiplier helps the forces be more powerful. And I have a video that you can see on the screen. If it doesn't appear on the screen, it's in the description below. Watch that video to understand what all those settings do. It completely transforms how your Logitech wheel feels. It's the best force feedback video you will ever see on the planet, on the internet. And if you have a direct drive wheel, also watch the video. You might want to lower the settings because your wheel is already powerful and base multiplier on 2 may be too much, but simplifies the force feedback. Okay, I will explain in that video what all those does. If this will not mess with your other force feedback settings. So if you want to use all my settings for VR, but you don't want to use this, you just click the button active, you uncheck it, and you go back to your force feedback settings. If you want to try the best force feedback settings in the world, you click active here, and it uses this. Simple as that. Okay? You also have output rear steering forces to wheel. This is for direct drive wheels users only. You can select your Newton meters, and there's a few settings here. You can, if you have a direct drive, means you know how to, you understand a few settings. You are messing with settings already, so please try it if you have a direct drive wheel, and leave a comment. Talk to me in the comments and tell me if it made a huge difference for you as well, because there's like 100 people saying it completely transformed the Logitech wheel and it helped them a lot. Okay, graphical adjustments. Important again. We have this active, but we have force FXA route unchecked. This is important for the TAA to work. AMD Fidelity FX Super Resolution. We have unchecked. Important for TAA to work. We go down, post-processing anti-aliasing mode set to disabled. Important for TAA to work. MIP bias for tilted surfaces, minus 0.5. Try 0, 0.5 or minus 1. Don't go more than minus 1. It makes things look worse. If you want to mess with it. If not, just leave it like that. It's like that for a reason, my friends, okay? GUI. Okay. Active. I haven't messed with any settings as is. Lightning effects. Active as well. Didn't mess with settings, is as is. If you really need to, if you really struggle and you need to get all the performance, maybe turning this off is not a good option. I will show you in the OpenXR Toolkit menu how you can improve performance as well. So leave this on for now. But try turning it off if you're really struggling, I guess. Reflection is on white, but I haven't messed with it. This is not checked. It's, as you can see here. Smart shadows. This is very important. Now this, you have to set on active. Right here on top, active, and where you see my mouse right here. If shadows are disabled or not available, you check this box, draw interiors fully shadowed, and you check this other box, draw interiors in mirrors fully shadowed. When we turn the shadows completely off in game to have a clear visuals and better performance, it keeps the interior of the card shadowed. Because before this, the clusters and the gauges on the car was just shining so bright it was like a white spot. You couldn't see anything, and that was just annoying, and it broke all the immersion, and all the interior of the car is like the sun was inside the car. So with these settings you can turn all the shadows, so the shadows of the trees will not be on track anymore. You can see the track clear and no distractions, but the interior of the car will look beautiful. Okay, this is very important. Weather effects. I have turned headlights on and off automatically. That's personal preference. I have this on active. Server use, you know, there's clouds, the suns, you know, there's weather. And I like to see the weather. If you uncheck this, you will just have a gray skybox and weird stuff happens. If you're really struggling for performance, try turning it off, see what happens. Weather style, I use Pure. That's another tutorial. Watch on YouTube how to install Pure. You can have rain effects. In order to have rain effects, right here, you have to turn on the rain effects, but that takes computing power, and we don't have that. We are on a budget, buying second-hand parts. We cannot allow ourselves, we cannot drive in the rain. Fuck the rain. Let's drive in the sun. Let's see the sun shining on our face. At least virtually, because you're sitting inside anyway, being a nerd. So at least inside the game have the sun. Fuck the rain. Okay, let's move on. Windscreen effects. Very important. You have this one active, and right here, remove dirt completely. You noticed by now in Assetto Corsa when the sun is shining on the windscreen, there's just some dirt. Nobody washes those cars in video games. Why would you have dirt on your windshield? You wanna have a clear windshield so you can see the clear track ahead of you, because all the opponents are behind you. You now have my force feedback settings, and of course you are first place, even drifting, so the competition sees how far ahead you are. You don't want some mud on the screen so you don't see where you're going and you crash. So remove that completely, keeps the windshield clear. That's very important. Mode tweaks is, as you see on the screen, Logitech, music, small tweaks, and taskbar. I haven't messed with this. It's just like they are with the custom shader patch. Okay, good. We got so far. Now, before you start the game, we need to apply this. Okay, so in order to do that, you go to Steam. Inside Steam, you go to Games, View Game Library, Assetto Corsa, right-click, Manage, Browse Local Files, and it will open this folder for you. My game is in right here in this PC, Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Assetto Corsa, right? And then you have, hold on, let me close this. You have this right here, right? And then you have Assetto Corsa. This is, you will download a zip file. You unzip the file and it will give you this folder with these two DLL files. You take those two DLL files, you click copy, you go to your Assetto Corsa root folder, you click paste. I already have them, so I have to replace the file. It will not ask you, just in my case, yes, replace the files, right? Close. That's it. We have TAA installed. In order to open TAA inside the game, we have to press Ctrl and P. Okay? It opens the menu. The menu will not show in your VR headset, only on the mirroring screen. So, on the mirroring screen, in order for you to see that, I have made a small window. You will see it appear in a moment. It takes what's on my top corner. I made a scene for it. Anyway, in case you press Ctrl and P to open the TAA menu and you don't see anything happening in your VR headset, it's on the mirroring screen. Just tilt the VR headset a little bit and you can see the menu for it. Okay, let's move to the VR right now. Let's close my desktop right here. Oh yeah, see, you can see the scene I created for you to see that when I'm in VR. So let's take the VR. Let me recenter it. Okay, let me just check if you can see what I'm doing. Yep. Okay, so now we have our VR headset running. We have our settings. So this is CSP NeghevPower VR settings. In Assetto Corsa video, we have CM NeghevPower VR settings, right? And then we go to drive. I'm not gonna go online right now, just because we are testing stuff. So we are gonna have a car. I'm gonna choose the Porsche 911R, Nürburgring, of course, why not? And then you just click go. It's in preview. Oh yeah, okay. It crashed earlier. Can you still see what I'm doing here? Yep. This is the hyperbolic time chamber, by the way. Look at this. It really feels like that. Nice. Okay, now we are inside the car. We click drive. Okay. So, if we go to the right menu, we want to have open view and video settings. We want to scroll down and we want to have open render stats. These are the render stats. You can open them like this, and if you move, can you see? Let me just check so I'm not recording. Okay. You can move your mouse over and it says sun shadows, for example. How much CPU and GPU are they using and how they are affecting the milliseconds, right? Mirrors, say CPU 0.6, GPU 0.1. So if we increase the resolution of the mirrors, this will... So you can see reflections, cube map. So you can see here details of every effect you apply, how much that effect it's taking from your performance, and then you can adjust accordingly. For now, we are gonna have it close like this, have it in front of us. It's gonna be 71.8 FPS. CPU, as you can see, is at 70% utilization, GPU 90% utilization. And now here we have the view and video settings. Here we have quality, word detail. If we set this to the maximum, we can see the marshals and stuff like that. We can set it to minimum, save some CPU power, right? See, CPU went up a little bit here because it's because of this. What's happening? Yeah. Antistrophic filtering, it's 16. Post processing, you can modify the quality here, glare, depth of field, sun rays, heat shimmer, reflections as well, faces per frame, rendering distance, like I said, and we have FPS cap and MIP load bias. But we are gonna work with the shadows. Okay, we have shadows off. First, let me go to a place on the map. It's close. Until then, you can see my FPS. I'm gonna leave it here, and you can see how my final settings look. All right, and you get a feel for them, and also see how the CPU is utilized and the GPU. Of course, no traction control because we are no pussy. I'm also recording, so the utilization of my CPU, what happened? Oh yeah, just screen going black for a second. I'm also recording, so my performance, I can notice, is a bit lower, but I can still get 72 FPS while recording. But I can notice some stutters, but that's just from recording this video for you. And I'm using Oculus mirroring tool, and a lot of stuff is open in my PC right now. So as you can see, the interior of the car is fully shadowed. It looks good. The map is clear. There's no flickering. There's no weird stuff. We can see the textures in the road. The road is clear. The map, the sky. Everything looks beautiful. It's clear enough. I can see the clusters in my car. I can see the tachometer. I can see the details. It really works nice. It looks good. Performs good. Saved it. Nice. Okay. We arrived at the destination. Hold on. So, right here, we can see how the game looks with shadows. So, by the way, on shadows, if you want to use the shadows, 512 is minimum, and it's smooth shadows. Below 512, it will load shadows as you drive, and it will be those popping shadows, and it's very annoying. 512, no popping shadows. 1024, good resolution, and 2048 with the resolution I'm using in the headset is just not enough resolution to read them properly, and some shimmering starts to appear. Okay, 512 was good enough. Let's keep this on 2048, and let's show you the TAA first, what the TAA does. So if I press Ctrl and P, you should see, let me check, yes, you should see a menu appears, and we have temporal anti-aliasing set to temporal anti-aliasing clarity. This allows us to also tune the sharpen edges, and normal anti-aliasing is just TAA level 1 or 2. I don't see a difference between 1 or 2. How can I change this? I don't know. It was supposed to. Am I pressing some button? What's happening? Oh yeah. So you can use this slider, and inside the game, this is super soft, and this just sharpens a lot. So on 4, it's a sweet spot, and also here between 1 and 2, I don't notice any difference, so I just leave it on 1. And on temporal anti-aliasing clarity, we can also tune the sharpen edges. So here we can go super soft edges or super sharpen edges, but on 4 is a good setting. If we disable this, now take a look at this. If we disable, see how noisy the picture is. Just let me close this X. So on my OBS recording this, I'm not sure how well this is shown, because on a flat screen this is not a big problem. In a VR headset it is. If you have a VR headset and if you played Assetto Corsa, you know about this problem. In my VR headset, it shimmers. I'm staying in one place. I'm not even moving, and everything does this in the distance. It's so distracting and it's tiring to the eye. So if we move the car, it just looks so bad. If we press Ctrl and P on the keyboard, it opens the menu, and on the menu we can choose anti-aliasing, and everything becomes more smooth, more perfect, right? Now, this is the temporal anti-aliasing done, okay? Now we have video settings. Now, if we also close the shadows, look how clear this image is. Nothing's shimmering. Nothing is doing weird stuff. I can see the inside of the car beautifully. So what we are only missing those shadows, and they are also distracting, and you cannot see the track very clear and where it's going. And with those off, you can see exactly where you're going. So it's just the shadows from the trees and stuff like that on the track. Inside the car, let's set this, okay, to open. You can see on the dashboard there's some light showing in the car. You see how when we move, there's now the car is fully shadowed, right? With the shadows on or off, there's no difference inside the car of how the car looks. The only difference with the shadows on is when you drive through those shadows and the sun is shining, you get sun in the cockpit like this. And if you turn the shadows off, it just remains fully shadowed, and it looks good, and it looks the same, and there's nothing to distract you. And this works for me very nice. Anisotropic filtering, it doesn't require any CPU or GPU really. If you turn this off, makes everything look a bit worse. It's just more details on 16x. Let's move on to the next settings. In my case, Ctrl and 3. If I press Ctrl and 3, let me also move this to the side here. render stats. Let's move it here. And now we have the OpenXR Toolkit menu. And we have performance, appearance. I use Control 1 and 2 to move left, right. Control 3, 4 to move up, down. In your case, whatever the buttons you set. Appearance, input, system, menu. On appearance, we go down, we have overlay. Now here we can choose developer mode. We can go down, exit menu, and we have FPS, we have all this information, all right? VRAM utilization, everything. So if you want to use something to measure, use the FPS here. Also, in render stats here, I'm going to show you a very important setting and why this render stats in Assetto Corsa is actually very important. Let's keep this here. Let's go to the menu again, go down, close this. Upscaling, sharpening. I'm not using any upscaling and sharpening because I'm using the TAA I just installed from this guy, right? So if you're struggling with your GPU and the performance, you move this to NSI and NIS, that's from NVIDIA, and FSR, that's from AMD. They both work no matter what graphic cards you are. It's just different technologies, right? You use FSR, you go down, and then you lower the resolution. So from 100%, you can put 70% resolution. That means it's going to render 70% of the resolution, and it's going to use FSR technology to upscale it to the full resolution again, and you will gain more performance, okay? In my case, GPU is still under 100%, so I don't need to use it. It will make the image look more blurry a little bit, but if you really require the extra performance, this is the way to do it. So we move up. I don't use this, or you can try CAS. This only sharpens the image. So if you want a sharper image, which is not, I don't think is the case, it's sharp enough, you can use TAA sharpening. But if you want to use CAS as well, just try it. In my case, I don't use this. What I use is this, turbo mode. Even the name, it's badass. So I just put a turbo on my computer, basically. So in Assetto Corsa, FPS render stats, you see right here, CPU 60%, right? CPU at 60%. I'm turning turbo mode off. Look at the CPU. Look, 110, 111%. And I'm by myself on a map with no AI and no other drivers, 111%. The CPU, when it has to render other cars and AI models, this is gonna be a problem. So I have a low-end CPU. It's very old. The single core performance is non-existent. So turbo mode helps with those kind of processors. Turning it on goes the CPU from 111% down to whatever it was. In my case right here, 59%. Okay. So why is it utilizing 111% of the CPU? Because it can only utilize 100%. What it means, when it's over 100% CPU and GPU in this render stats inside Assetto Corsa, it means the CPU cannot render, it cannot do the processes it needs to do in time. So the other hardware and software has to wait for the CPU. When it's over 100%, you're going to have stutters and frame drops. It is what it is. So whatever settings you do, you need to keep this. Even when it's close to 90%, you're going to have problems. So keep CPU, GPU under 100% for smooth experience, right? Turbo mode set on, bam, CPU goes down. That's a secret setting here. That's what you should try. Appearance, we can go post-processing on, and we have some presets. We can go light, dark. We can make it super vibrant. I like the way it looks. Actually, the light presets, kind of nice. Nah, on off. I like the way the game looks like this. We have inputs. I don't know what over prediction reduction does. We have system. Now if you have top of the line computer, like best GPU, best CPU and all that, in Quest, in the Meta Horizon app, set the resolution for your VR headset as high as it can be. That will improve the graphics the most. And then you can come here to the OpenXR Toolkit and get override resolution. You set this to yes. You have the display resolution per eye. That's your native resolution. And you can just crank this up as much as the GPU will allow. And you will have super clear, best visual graphics. That's how you do the graphics. And you can also in custom shader patch, in custom manager, you can add rain effects and particle effects, and you can add more effects to improve the immersion and the visuals of the game. But otherwise, keep the settings as I showed you, because it creates the best baseline to build on, right? We don't want to override the resolution. It will just break my GPU. I tried on the max. I have 40 FPS constant, so it's not enough for VR, but it looks super nice. And then you have menu, where you can set how the menu looks. It's close, far away, whatever, right? Appearance, performance, so overlay, you can see the FPS. You can upscale the image to get more performance. Turbo mode, low-end CPU, put it on on. It will allow your CPU to do stuff. I know, it's some magic. It's basically a turbo for your PC. Works nice. Also, after you do settings here, restart the game to apply the settings, right? We can now move down, exit menu. Now you can see I can open the menu for the TA again. You can see my CPU is at 58%, right? If I disable anti-aliasing and I click on disable, from 57 utilization, it goes down to 47 utilization. So if your CPU really struggles, disable TAA, the shimmering starts already to appear, but with the close shadows, with the shadows off and my settings, you don't have even the shadows on top of everything to flicker and do crazy stuff. So you still have a decent experience. It's not as bad. Yes, it flickers a little bit, but it just allows low-end CPU like mine to work. So in Shokuto Revival project, or online maps where there's tons of AI and a lot of drivers, and if you have some problems, turn TA off, keep shadows off with my settings, and if you're really struggling, where is the mouse? All right, if you're really struggling, OpenXR Toolkit, performance, upscaling, FSR, set this to 70, 60, 80%, whatever you need. And this will allow your GPU to have better performance as well. So that's how you can get even more performance, or if maybe you have a lower end PC than I do. That's how you do it, all right? In my case, I keep this off and only get turbo mode on. Let's go down to exit menu, and on TAA menu right here, right? And I have these two temporal anti-aliasing. I just love the way it looks. So right now I'm gonna keep this in front of you right here so you can see how the game looks. How much time are we in? 53 minutes. Oh my god, it is what it is. It's gonna be a long video. Okay. Resume. Right. Still working? Yes, still working. I'm gonna finish this lap. You don't need to keep watching now. Go do your settings in case you wanna see the performance I get. GTX 1080 Ti, CPU Ryzen 7 2700X, and 32 gigs of RAM. I'm recording while I'm driving, so I'm using OBS. I'm recording. I have mirroring open to record and all this stuff, and I can still get 72 FPS constant. Game looks decent. I'm enjoying myself so much now that I did this video, and hopefully I'm helping you guys to enjoy VR as much as I do now. I'm gonna upload the video, and from now on I'm gonna just enjoy racing. I have my settings, and then of course I will try new stuff, and I will encounter new problems, and I will find the best settings again, and I will share them with you. So until then, take care, do some push-ups, because you want to be a jacked nerd. Okay, ladies like it if you're a nerd, only if you're jacked. Okay? If this was helpful, and if you enjoyed watching this video, give me a subscription, okay? Click subscribe, it's free. But I don't care about the subscribers and the likes all that much. It helps the channel, of course. The likes help it, the algorithm. What I want to see is a comment from you. Talk to me in the comments, my friend. Tell me, look, I tried the setting, it was nice, but I adjusted this, and I had this system, and it runs great. It maybe helps other. Or I tried your settings, I encountered this problem, and I solved it by doing this stuff. And maybe another guy has the same problem, and you can see in the comments. Or maybe I just wake up one morning, get a look in the mirror. I remember I look like a Greek god. I open my PC, and I see like 5 comments from you guys telling me, look, you saved me. I can be awesome now. I can drift and I can drive. And yes, a lady appeared in my room, and he was mesmerized by my jacked arms because I listened to you and I did those push-ups. And I also got to be a nerd and explain to her how weight transfer and trail braking works in cars, you know. And talk to me, or just say, hey, NeghevPower, what are you doing? You are crazy. I don't mind if it's a rude comment. I don't mind, man. I don't get offended. I'm not a pussy, okay? You can talk to me. You can say whatever you want. Just talk to me in the comments. That way other people see it. Maybe we can fix some other problems. I'm enjoying my sim so much. I want to do more videos. I have some brake modes. I built a handbrake for it. I built it myself from it's made from wood. It works beautifully. I have those force feedback settings for my wheel. The wheel reacts so nice. I don't even need to upgrade to a direct drive. I can just enjoy low end and budget parts if they are set up correctly, like I did with the VR right now. If you spend the time, if you set them up correctly, if you do the correct settings, if like my sitting position right now, when I'm grabbing the wheel, it really feels like I'm grabbing the wheel in the game. It's in the same spot. Alright, the chair, the arms, everything is in the same spot as in real life. My brake has a mode that it measures, kind of tricks you into measuring the pressure you apply. It's the Logitech pedals, but I modify them so you can be constant with the brake, and you learn by how much pressure you apply, not the distance the brake travel. I did some mods to my shifter so it feels better. You can really enjoy low-end parts and second-hand hardware. You just have to spend the time to set it correctly. If you're a little bit passionate about it, you will do that. And videos like this, I hope, helps, because myself, I watch videos to learn how to do stuff. So from video to video to video, from searching on Google and talking to ChatGPT, I gather all this information and I put it in one video so you guys have an easier time. Yes, it's a 1 hour long video, of course, but it's 1 month of work and gathering information and testing and doing settings. And it's 1 hour video where you have everything you need to have the best VR experience on this planet Earth. And I also encourage you to do some push-ups and be jacked like me, so the ladies come over to your place and be mesmerized of your arms while you explain nerd shit. Okay? Would be so awesome if I did some effects right now and just a goth lady appears next to me. I'm not good at editing skills to make that happen, but if I can, hi. It will probably not appear because I don't wanna. I spent 1 month doing this research for this video. I'm now gonna spend another month learning how to edit an AI girl here next to me, okay? You need the settings today. But just imagine a lady now is mesmerized by my arm while I'm explaining her stuff, alright? You have to imagine it, and it will become real one day. Okay, my friends. Let me take this off. I just realized I was yelling. I just realized I was yelling the whole time because with the head, I don't hear shit with this on my head and that on my face and what the fuck. It's night already. I will leave you with this double bicep. See you next time. Hope you enjoyed the video and it was really helpful. Comment, like, you see on the board right there, subliminal message, you know. I think of this stuff ahead of time. See you in the next video. Bye bye. NeghevPower is out.